הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. So these words are all about how good it is to be together, and there are some claps in there. Rabbi was demonstrating beautifully, so if you can join the rabbi with some clapping. Hine ma tov.
There you go.
Uma naim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov. Uma naim shevet achim gam yachad. Now you're going to echo me with nice big voices. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. That was amazing. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine ma tov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Good morning, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
It really is good to be together to celebrate this time of celebration and transition and to greet Shabbat with learning and song and prayer. We really want to make sure that this is a place where we're all comfortable and happy about learning and praying and singing together. So we're going to take just a second to give you a moment to wish a Shabbat Shalom to someone nearby, and you get extra credit if you say Shabbat Shalom to someone you did not come with. So, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So we are going to take our prayer books, which can be found on the back of the seat in front of you. For those who haven't prayed from a Hebrew prayer book before, it does open from right to left, so the pages might look backwards a little bit. And we're going to turn to page 174. And one of the greatest gifts to Owen and Brody on this morning is to lend your voices, which I've already heard are very beautiful and powerful. So we'll keep doing that throughout the service. This prayer is about our souls being restored in the morning. It's a time to sing. It's a time to just be aware of your breath in and out. So I want to teach you these words. It's just the first line and a half on the top of 174. It goes like this. Elohai, Elohai. Let's try it together. Ready? Elohai, Elohai. Beautiful. Listen. Neshama, Neshama. Let's try it. Neshama, Neshama. Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. Let's try together. Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. And the last part. Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Let's try it together. Tehorahi, Tehorahi. That's the whole thing. Let's try the whole thing together now from the beginning. Elohai, Elohai. Neshama, Neshama, Neshama. Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi.
We'll be moving into our service now on page 195. Page 195. Today is a day of great joy and transition as we have the opportunity to be led in prayer for the first time as a congregation by two new Jewish adults. And so it is my pleasure to invite Owen up to the bima now to lead us in prayer. As he makes his way up, you are already on page 195, so would you please rise for Baruch Hu. Yai la lai 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 lai.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or uvarei Hoshe, Oseh shalom, uvarei et hakol. This prayer is about the wonder of creation. I want to share a creative reflection that is not on the page in front of you. Praised are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom you form them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai our God, for the excellent work of your hands. And for the lights you created, may they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMe'orot. We continue responsively on page 199. Page 199. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tones for us to hear, in every land and every age. Your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways, and yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity.
We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel. And joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose.
May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, haboker be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'chayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinam ta'am levanecha, v'dibarta ba'am, v'shivtecha v'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derek, u'kshokbecha uv'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'chayu letotafot b'neinecha, uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'yisharecha. Leman tiskeru v'asitem et chol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim leloechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelokim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We read together on the bottom of page 203. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles in earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
And so as we turn to page 204 for Micha Mocha, I want to teach you your part. So on the third line, I'm going to go Nora, and you're going to go Tehilot. Let's try Nora, Tehilot. And then I'm going to go Oseh, and you're going to go Fele. Let's try Oseh, Fele. Amazing. עד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. Here's your part. נורא תהילות עושי פלא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
As Owen makes his way back to his seat. Here, I'll take this with you. Take that with you.
Oh, you can keep that here. No.
I'm going to invite Brody up to join us at the Bima as we move our way towards our Amidah, the central section of our worship service.
The service continues on pages 205 and 206. Please rise. Adonai sefer taifta ufia gitehilateha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zoher Hasdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Gula livnei v'neihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Mele Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehayeh hakol atah rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mehakel hayim behesed, Mehayeh hakol berahamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh holim, Umatir asurim, Umehayem emunato lishenei afar, Mihamo habal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umehayeh, Umatzmiya Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mehayeh hakol.
Our next prayer of our Amidah is called the Kedusha, found on pages 208 and 209. It is a prayer about the holiness of this day. And as we get to the word for holy, kadosh, we hear it 3 times. And each time we actually go up on our toes to feel this holiness with our bodies. And so there are a couple of other times where we go up on our toes. I'm going to show you each of these times so that we can feel this holiness together as a community. Nikadesh, Nikadesh, Nikadesh et shemecha ba'olam, Nikadesh et shemecha ba'olam, kishem shemakdishim oto bishmei marom, kakatuv al yad nevi'echa, v'karazeh lezeh ve'amar, kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. adirenu, adir, adirenu, Adonai, Adonai, Adonenu, Ma'adir, Ma'adir Shimecha b'chol haaretz, Baruch kivon Adonai mimekomo echad hu Eloheinu. Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshiachenu, Vehu Yashminu, Vehu Yashminu, Vehu Yashminu, Berachamav le'inei kol chai, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimeloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Tzion, ledor avador. Hallelujah, Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. We continue at the bottom of page 210 with Vishamru, a prayer about the importance of Shabbat.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to holiness in time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue responsively by paragraph on page 212. On the Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others.
Teach us humility, that we may perceive our own faults,
and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves, and the charity to see the best in those around us.
Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you.
We praise you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Baruch atah
Adonai, she'odha levadha b'yira na'avod. We continue at the bottom of the next page. Modim anachnu la sha'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu le'olam va'ed. This prayer is about gratitude. I want to share a creative reflection that is not on the page in front of you. Today is a gift. Oh my God, to know your world, to receive your blessings. Rock of ages, your works surround us, daily signs of awe and wonder, daily guides of joy and service. Bless me with hands of strength, a heart of courage, a mind of understanding. Bless me with a voice of praise, a life of gratitude, days filled with hope and love. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimha ulha ne'ai lahodot. We continue with our prayer for peace, Sim Shalom, on the top of page 216.
So we're just going to be singing two of these Hebrew words, Sim Shalom, make peace. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom. Let it begin with me, not too hard, want to try it with me, here we go. Sim Shalom, Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom. Let it begin. Let it begin with me one more time. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom. Let it begin with me. Oh, my own life is all I can hope to control. Let my life be lived for the good of my soul. Let it bring peace, sweet peace. Peace will come. Let it begin with me. Let's try Sim Shalom again. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom. Let it begin with me. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom. Let it begin with me.
We're going to take just a moment now in silence to give us the opportunity to offer the prayers of our own hearts. We'll continue quietly and individually now.
Ihu liratzon imrei fi. Ihu liratzon imrei fi. Vegion libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri vegohali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the
We've arrived now at the Torah service for this Shabbat morning, the centerpiece of this B'nai Mitzvah celebration, when these two new Jewish men have the opportunity for the first time to read Torah in the presence of their congregation and teach all of us from the wisdom of those ancient stories and values. And so it is a pleasure for me to invite our B'nai Mitzvah back up to the Bima, Owen and Brody, if you would come back and join me and the cantor here at the reader's table. And I want to invite these members of their families as well to assist us with the passing of the Torah scroll. Passing the Torah to Owen this morning will be Jessica and Josh Leaf, Elaine Lowenstein, and Derek Lowenstein. And to pass the Torah to Brody, Donna Mark, Brandon Mark, Jenny Mark, and Augie Gonzalez as they make their way up and find their spaces. I'll invite the congregation to turn to page 244 for the beginning of the Torah service. Page 244.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malichutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai melech leolam aved. Adonai uz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
Assemble the people, men and women and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah. And let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God.
Happy is the one who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding. For its value is greater than silver, its yield than fine gold. It is more precious than rubies, no treasure can match it.
It is my pleasure now to invite Peter Lowenstein and Simon Lowenstein to assist us with the opening of the doors of the Ark. As they make their way up to assist with the doors, I'll invite the congregation to rise.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim.
Owen and Brody, as your congregation watches these scrolls passed through the arms of the members of your family until they come to rest in your arms, we're reminded of the ancient process of transmission of wisdom and values that have led us to this day. Each generation that led us to today, remembering and passing on what is most important, what makes us who we are, and what we pledge to pass along to the generations that will follow.
And so you'll hear the words Lador, Vador from generation to generation. You become the next link in this chain that goes back all the way through your families, all the way to Abraham and Sarah. And we are so looking forward to learning from you today. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid God lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach
the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai הגדולה מהגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד. כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה וימין נשיא לכל ראש. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. We're just gonna take off the silver. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hanshama tehallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama tehallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Guys, can we return to your seats? Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Just leave it here. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
You may be seated. Okay, you guys are going to give your remarks, which are right. I want you to get real close to that microphone. Okay.
First, we would like to thank Brody and his family for being and continuing to be wonderful partners in this journey, which started at birth of Alice. Owen, Alex, Dad, and I are so proud of you and all your hard work. This journey began over 8 years ago, and what a journey it has been. In fact, you fought tooth and nail, but a year ago you accepted the challenge to become a bar mitzvah and have done an exceptional job. This past summer, you started your bar mitzvah training. You surprised us with everything you had learned from summers at Jacob's Camp and how determined you were to master your Torah and Haftorah portions. You have taught Dad and me many things in your 13 years, but most importantly, what unconditional love is, how to live in the moment, and how to keep on trying no matter what obstacle comes in your path. When you put your mind to something, you persevere to get the job done. And guess what? You're about to get it done. Dad and I wish the best for you in everything you do, whether it's school, home, baseball, or with your friends. Never forget that when you put your mind to something, you can do it, even if the outcome is not what you originally hoped it would be. As Michael Jordan has said, obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. And lastly, remember that we love you no matter what, and that we are always here for you. Mazel tov.
This morning, our Torah portion comes from the book of Genesis. We're reading this week from Parshat Noach, the section of the Torah that talks about Noah and the ark and the story of the Tower of Babel and other exciting stories from the very beginning of the Torah story. We're reading this week from Genesis 9. If you have a red-bound Torah commentary in back of the seat in front of you and you'd like to follow along, you can find the beginning of our Torah reading this morning on page 68 of those red books. We're starting with Genesis 9, verse 8. And so as you make your way and we make our way into the scroll, we're going to invite up Owen's grandparents and cousin and aunt to receive the honor of this first aliyah, this honor of these first set of blessings surrounding this Torah reading. Derek Lowenstein, Elaine Lowenstein, Sheila Leaf, and Deb Leaf.
Yamdu aliyah leTorah.
Okay, I'll have you come to this microphone.
Baruch Hu es Adonai Amvarach.
Baruch Adonai Amvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Amvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chabonu mikol ha'amim v'nosan lonu es ta'oso. Baruch Atah Adonai nosein ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Elohim el Noach ve'el banav itov lemor. Va'ani hineni mekim et reititem ve'et zarachem acharechem.
Closing blessing.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nosan lonu toras emes v'chayei olam notah b'sochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai nosein ha'torah.
Amen.
Give him a little mazel tov before you go. For the second aliyah, the second set of blessings over our Torah reading this morning, we'll be inviting Owen's parents and brother, Josh Leaf, Jessica Leaf, and Alex Leaf.
If you want to join together over there.
Here's your...
Yamdu aliyah leTorah. Baruch Adonai Amvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'et kol nefesh hachaya asher itchem ba'ov ba'behema uvehol chayat haaretz itchem mikol yotzei hateva lechol chayat haaretz. V'hakimoti et briti item velo yikaret kol basar. Od mimei hamavu velo yeheye od mavu l'shayet haaretz.
Closing blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam natan b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
And for our third aliyah, our third section of Torah reading this morning, we invite Owen himself to receive this honor of the third and final aliyah, calling him to the Torah by his Hebrew name.
Yamod Abachor Bar Mitzvah, Shimon Yakar Ben Yoel Eliezer V'Sara Rachel, Aliyah LeTorah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamburach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamburach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'harbanu mikol ha'amim natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Elohim Zot ot habrit asher ani notein Beini uvein nechem uvein kol nefesh haya asher itchem lidorot olam et kashti natati be'anan v'hata le'ot berit beini uvein haaretz.
Closing blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
It is our custom in our community at this point in the Torah service, in this small break of time in between the reading from the two scrolls, to take a moment to offer Mishaberach, to offer a prayer for healing. If you can join me back in your prayer books on page 253, you'll find there the words of our Mishaberach this morning. I invite you to take a moment to turn your thoughts and your prayers to those in your circles of family and care and community and those beyond them as well, to think about those in need of healing and wholeness on this Shabbat day as we draw them close to us in prayer, as we offer this Mishaberach together. As we prepare to move to our second Torah reading this morning, I want to invite Brody back up to the bima, along with his dad and his mom, Brandon Mark and Donna Mark. As they make their way up, we will redress the scroll and prepare for the second reading. So would you please rise as the scroll is dressed?
may be seated.
Brody. This has been an unconventional time to become a bar mitzvah, but you have never skipped a beat. Your dedication and commitment has been stellar, even when most of it has been learning in front of a computer. I am so proud of you for rolling with the punches and adapting to change seamlessly. I think this is one of your greatest qualities, of course, along with being smart, handsome, and very, very funny. Watching you grow up is my greatest joy in life, and becoming a bar mitzvah is just the icing on the cake. My hope for you after this accomplishment is that you will continue to pursue your commitment to Judaism and explore that however you see it fit into your life. I hope that you will continue to always be kind to others, that you continue to be open-minded and open-hearted, that you continue to love and want to help animals, and that you continue to ask questions and be curious about the world. But most of all, just continue to be the amazing person that you already are. I love you more than you love pizza. What? I know.
Brody, as you know, I love to tell dad jokes. I think they are pretty funny, but I know you think they are corny. Here is one that relates to this week's Torah portion. Why did Noah have so much difficulty fishing on the ark? You know? He only brought 2 worms. Yeah. Jenny and I are so proud of the young man you have become. You are the sweetest and most caring almost 13-year-old I know. This is evident in the way you dote on your little brother and the gleam in his eyes when he sees you. My hope for you is that you make a difference in this world. I want you to feel passionate about helping to repair the world, and yes, that includes helping to save all of the sharks in the ocean. I hope that you will continue to embrace your Jewish faith to help shape you into a better human being. Life is about making choices. May you have the courage and good judgment to make good choices in life. And just remember, on your arc of life, you will have more resources and support than just 2 worms to help you fish through this journey called life. Mazel tov, I love you.
We'll be continuing now reading from Parshat Noach this morning. If you have those red books handy and you want to follow along, we'll be moving forward now to Genesis chapter 11, which you can find on page 80 of those books, starting at the beginning, Genesis 11:1. And to receive the honor of the first Aliyah, the first set of blessings around this Torah reading, we will invite to the Bima Brody's aunts and uncles, David and Jen Kaufman, Rick and Anissa Kaufman, and Steve Kaufman.
Yamdu Aliyah LeTorah.
It's beautiful. It's great. It's really great.
Baruch hu et Adonai havarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'charanu mikol ha'yamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayhi hol haaretz safa ehat udvarim ahadim. Vayhi benos am mikedem vayemseu vik'ah be'eretz shinar vayeshvu sham.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'yachayeh olam atah b'tainu Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
For our second Aliyah, we'll invite Brody's parents and sister to receive the honor of these blessings. Donna Mark and Augie Gonzalez, Brandon Mark and Jenny Mark and Maddie Mark will come and join us here at the Bima.
Yamdu Aliyah LeTorah.
Over here. Oh, you're up front.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai Ambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomru ish el re'ehu hava nilbana livanem v'nisrefa lisrefa vatihi lahem halavina le'aven v'hahemar hayalahem lahomer. Oh, vayomru hava nivne lanu ir umigdal v'rosho b'shamayim v'na'as elanu shem penafutz al penei kol ha'aretz.
Closing blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. For our third and final Aliyah, we call Brody to the Torah by his Hebrew name, receiving this third set of blessings as an honor on the day he becomes bar mitzvah.
Yamod habachor bar mitzvah Binyamin Chaim ben Amaria udvora Aliyah LeTorah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayeret Adonai lerot et ha'ir ve'et ha'migdal asher banu b'nei ha'adam. Vayomer Adonai hen am echad v'safai hat li kulam v'zeh ha'helam la'asot ve'atah lo yevetzer mehem kol asher yazmu la'asot.
Closing blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata betoheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Before we continue with the reading of the Haftarah portion this morning, we will redress the scroll and set it in the stand. And so as we do, I want to invite Owen back up to the Bima to get ready for our Haftarah reading. Would you please rise as the Torah is dressed? Our Haftarah reading, which is a section from the books of the prophets that comes to supplement the reading from the Torah this week, comes from the book of the prophet Isaiah. We'll be reading this morning from the beginning of Isaiah 54, but we will begin before the reading of Isaiah with a blessing for the Haftarah reading, which is in our prayer books on page 254.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nve'im tovim v'ratzav v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'torah Uv Moshe Avdo, Uv Yisrael Amo, Uvinvei Ha'emet Vatzedek.
Amen.
Roni Akara Lo Yalada Pitzvi Rina Vetzachali Lo Hala Ki Rabim B'nai Shobei Mach Mi B'nai Ve'ulam Amar Adonai Harchivi Mekom Ocholei Viriot Mishkanotayich Yatu Alta Sochi Ha'arichi Metarayich Viteotayich Hazeki
Kiamim usmol tifrodzi vezar goyim yirash ve'arim neshamot yoshivu altir kilo tevoshi ve'alti kami kilo tachpiri kivoshet alumayi tishkahi Veherpot almenutaich lo tiskari od.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Zor kol haolamim Sadik b'chol hadorot Ha'el ha'ne'eman Ha'omer ve'oseh Ha'emdaber u'mekayem Shekol devarav emet v'tzedek Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah Ve'al ha'neve'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatat Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'linuha, lehavod ultifaret, al ha'kol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim la, umvarechim otah, yitbarach shimcha, V'fi kol hayamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen. Having read from our Torah and our Haftarah for the morning, we'll be returning the Torah scrolls to the Ark. So I want to invite up Emily Mark, Sasha Makoff, Ethan Mark, and Julia Mark to assist us with the doors of the Ark, and as they make their way up, I'll invite you to rise to prepare for the opening of the Ark and return of the scrolls. Kilakach tov natati lachem torati al ta'azovu. For I have given you good instruction, do not abandon my Torah. It is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it, and all its supporters are happy. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace.
Eitz chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Eilecha v'nashova Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu
It is my pleasure now to invite Mark Bruckner to the bema, representing the leadership of our congregation and its board of trustees, to make a presentation to our B'nai Mitzvah this morning.
Owen and Brody, your becoming B'nai Mitzvah is a day of celebration, not just for you, but for the entire Jewish people. I'm delighted to be here this morning as a member of the Board of Trustees to wish you and your family Mazel Tov. I've enjoyed knowing both of your families for quite a while, and I appreciate them asking me to be here today. My prayer for you is that you will continue to be strong links to a Jewish future. Today marks a special event in your lives, and I want you to know how much pride the temple takes in your accomplishments. And so I have several presentations for you. From Sisterhood, there is a high certificate indicating they have made a donation to their youth education and special projects fund in your honor. And from the congregation, there are 3 gifts for each of you. First, thanks to the generosity of the Barish family and their dedication to Israel education, when you choose to remain enrolled and regularly attend upper school in our Helfman Religious School, you will have the amazing opportunity to travel to Israel with your temple friends absolutely free of charge for a 4-week trip during the summer after your 10th or 11th grade. So that's a deal. Don't pass it up. Second, our Sisterhood are presenting you with a $100 Mazel Tov Israel Savings Bond, which will mature in 5 years, about the time you graduate from high school, to make a small dent in your college education. And finally, a personalized embossed copy of the Plaut Modern Torah Commentary, in which you will always be able to look up and find your Torah portion so that you can continue to learn and study Torah. We hope you will use it often throughout your life. Mazel Tov to you and your family. We are all very proud of both of you. Y'all knocked it out of the park today, so congratulations. Thank you. Bye.
All right, Brody, you can sit. Owen. Oops. Put that right up to your mouth. Whenever you are ready, you can take it away.
My parsha is Noah in the book of Genesis. In this portion, God decides to destroy the earth because all the people were being violent and sinful. So God asked Noah to build an ark and bring his family onto it, as well as 2 of every animal. God then flooded the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. When the earth dried out and Noah left the ark, God promised never to flood the earth again. When I read this portion, I couldn't help but think about all the terrible hurricanes and rainstorms, like Hurricane Ian, that are caused by climate change. I wondered, if God promised never to destroy the earth again, what does this story mean for climate change? Rabbi Dov Linzer suggests God had set limits for humans, and they were not good at sticking to them because of their appetite and greed. So God flooded the earth. But after the waters receded, God promised Noah, "Never again will I bring doom upon the world on account of what people do, even though the human mind leans toward evil." God may have kept the promise, but humans are letting this promise go to waste by failing to live within our limits. We are rapidly destroying the earth through climate change, not God. Every day, we see the effects of climate change. Ice caps are melting, which causes water to rise and flooding to happen. Animal species are disappearing because they are losing their habitats, which forces them to migrate or starve. And we see this not just in the news, but also in our backyards. Lightning storms and tornadoes are more severe. This summer, Houston has had one of the hottest summers of my life and was in a drought for the entire summer. You hear in the news about the passage of a climate bill, which is designed to help people choose to live within their limits, but we might not feel the bill's impact for decades, which might make some people continue to live in non-sustainable ways. We need to focus on our needs and not our wants. In our family, we have talked and made changes to our lives to try and live within God's limits. Anything we can recycle goes into the recycling bin. My mom and dad bring their own bags to the grocery store rather than use the Kroger plastic bags. We changed all our light bulbs to LED light bulbs, and if we aren't in a room, we turn off the lights to conserve energy. As Rabbi Linzer wrote, God has taken an oath that God would no longer bring another flood to destroy the world. God will not send another flood, and God will not send another Noah. It is all in our hands now. We will either bring the next flood, or we will save ourselves from it. But the water is rising, and we must act before it is too late. We must be the custodians of the world that God has charged us to be. Each of us make different choices to slow climate change. If we don't, then who will? What will Earth look like for future generations? The rainbow reminds us that it is our responsibility to each play our part by electing representatives that will push for change and by changing our own footprint. My Mitzvah project theme was helping others, whether those others are four-legged or two-legged. For part one of my Mitzvah project, I volunteered to deliver meals for the Evelyn Rubenstein JCC Meals on Wheels program. This program helps homebound seniors living in Southwest Houston. Meals on Wheels provides kosher and non-kosher meals to senior homes during the week. Each week, my mom and I would receive a route to deliver meals to a group of seniors. The other part of my Mitzvah project was volunteering with Houston Cares on Saturday adoption days at PetSmart. I interacted with the dogs and cats by petting them, feeding them some treats, and walking them. Both projects allowed me to help, whether by giving a needed meal, a smile, and some conversation, or by helping an animal feel wanted and loved. For my tzedakah project, I am donating a percentage of my bar mitzvah money to MD Anderson Cancer Center in memory of my cousin Jason Leaf and my grandmother Phyllis Leaf, and in honor of my Oma Elaine Lowenstein, all of whom have faced cancer. I did this to further cancer research and to help other families like mine. I would like to express my gratitude to the many people who have helped me get to where I am today. Thank you to all my religious school teachers who have taught me so much about my religion, and to my bar mitzvah tutoring teachers who have taught me how to do pretty much everything I have done today. Thank you to the rabbis and cantor who have led the services in which I've learned the roots of my prayers and felt like I am a part of the Jewish community. I also would like to thank Anna Herman and the Henry S. Jacobs Camp staff in Mississippi for helping me get ready for this day for the past 6 summers by teaching me all of my prayers as well as how to be a better Jewish person. Brody, we have known each other since the nest at Bertha Alice. Thank you for being a friend who is always willing to play video games with me and make me laugh. I am so glad I got to go through this process with you. Alex, thanks for being a great brother. You're always willing to give me advice, whether it is wanted or not. Thanks as well for driving me to baseball practices. You're always there for me when I need you the most. Mom and Dad, there are so many things I could thank you for. One example is taking me to all of my baseball practices, training, games, and tournaments. Thank you for helping me become who I am today. I am proud to be your son. Mom, thank you for making delicious meals and taking me everywhere I need to go. I love watching movies with you. I know that I sometimes tell you that your jokes are not funny, but I want you to know that I think you are funny, even if I am too cool to admit it. You are the best mom I could ever ask for. Dad, you are my sports guy. Whether playing or watching, you taught me the rules. Thanks for taking me to baseball games and also for helping me with my homework. You are the world's greatest dad. Becoming a bar mitzvah means that I have to take on more responsibility. This experience has taught me that nothing in life comes easy. You have to work hard to reach your goals and milestones. When I look back on this day, I will remember everyone from friends to family that helped me celebrate today as I have become an adult in the eyes of Judaism. Thank you again for coming to be with me today. Shabbat Shalom.
Wow. Oh, and thanks for your leadership and thanks for your teaching. You showed great insight and sensitivity in the way that you talked about your Parsha and the way that you drew the comparison between the story of Noah and the ark and the flood and climate change and environmental peril that we find ourselves facing today. I thought it was a really beautiful way of reading that portion. It's a section of the Torah that we read differently today than we did a generation or two ago because of the way the world looks differently today. Your portion contains the familiar scene when, at the end of the ark's journey, Noah sends out the dove, and the dove comes back in that familiar image of peace, the dove holding the olive branch in its beak. What people who may not have studied this portion as closely as you have may not know is that Noah actually releases the dove 3 different times, right? The dove goes out first and then comes back empty-handed. Or empty-beaked, I guess. The dove comes back first with nothing in its beak. Second time, the dove comes back holding the olive branch in that image that is so familiar to us. And the third time that Noah releases the dove, it doesn't come back at all. If that dove holding the olive branch is an image of peace and hope and promise, the repetition of the 3 times, once coming back with nothing, second time coming back with the hope and potential of the olive branch, and the third time not coming back at all. Maybe what it reminds us is that we do have multiple chances to get it right. We have opportunities to fix what is broken. We have opportunities to reset our priorities and the way that we spend our resources, but we don't have unlimited chances to get it right. Eventually, our opportunities will run out and we'll have lost all the chances we have to set things right. I think you presented for us a sense of urgency and also a sense of possibility with which you, your contemporaries in your generation, and those who come after you can do what you can to fix the problems that you have inherited. We talk a lot when a person becomes bar mitzvah about the things that you've received as an inheritance from the generations that came before you, the gifts of Torah and tradition, gifts of values and priorities, and all of the traditions that make their way to you from the generations who came before you. You and your generation, unfortunately, have also received some difficult things from the generations who came before. Challenges and problems that people didn't face 100 or 200 or 500 years ago. And you're faced with the responsibility to fix the things that the people who came before you couldn't or didn't or wouldn't fix. But you have things that the people who came before you also didn't have. You have wisdom and insight. You have perspective and science, and you know the things that have to be done to fix what is broken. I have great faith in you. You've demonstrated scholarship and hope and social conscience and the right kind of values, and I know that you and those who come after you will fix the things that are broken because you have the vision of what it looks like to live in a world that has been repaired. I'm so grateful for your teaching. I'm grateful for the scholarship and leadership you've shown today, and I cannot wait to see what you and those who come after you will bring to the Jewish community and to the world. Mazel tov, my friend. Well done. Great teaching. Thanks. You can make your seat. Brody, my friend, I want to invite you up to the bima to share your teaching about this parsha as well. Get this out of the way.
My parsha is Noah in the book of Genesis. And following the flooding of the earth, which was survived by Noah and his family, the part I'm going to focus on is the building of the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel was a project that was supposed to get high enough to talk to God, and all the builders built it so they could make a name for themselves. Building the Tower of Babel is very hard. The Midrash teaches that most builders cared more about a brick falling off than a person falling off. They went as high as possible building the tower and thought they were above God, but God still had to come down to talk to them. Through an extraordinary act of divine intervention, God came down and cursed their speech. They could no longer understand each other's speech. Then God scattered them throughout the earth. This seems like God is punishing the builders of the Tower of Babel, but Rabbi Hannah Schlesinger teaches that this is not a punishment at all. He writes, "This action by God created the impetus for the diversity of human culture and language that we know today. God, it appears, at least according to the biblical account, is an avowed multiculturalist. This means that God encourages multiculturalism, the diversity of human cultures. God wants human beings to be individuals and free thinkers." Houston is one of the most culturally diverse cities in the country. Having visited other cities that aren't as diverse, I realize how fortunate I am to be surrounded by so many cultures. It affects the food that we eat, the people that we meet, and even the holidays that we get to learn about and celebrate in our school district. We always have one of the Jewish high holy days off. In other Texas cities, they do not have this. I have made many friends from all different cultural and religious backgrounds at my school. This is even apparent in the school lunchroom where my friends bring foods I've never seen before, or when we're playing video games together and they speak different languages at home. A big part of what we do as a family is go out to eat and try foods from different cultures. One of our favorite places to visit in Houston is Chinatown. We have eaten all types of Asian cuisines, desserts, and snacks that are found in Asia. I love trying new and different things from other cultures and learning about all the diversity here in Houston. My favorite cultural food is ramen, and even the theme to my bar mitzvah party is anime. All these experiences make me want to travel to these countries and see them firsthand. With my experiences in Houston, this has made me fearless to try new things and meet people from different backgrounds. The people who built the Tower of Babel all had the same desire and thought. They all wanted to get closer to God individually. And because of this, they didn't really care about each other as individuals. They only cared about themselves. This is what allowed them to not care when people fell off the tower. When everyone is the same, no one really matters. So God comes and spreads them out all over the earth and mixes up their language so they can no longer understand each other. At the time, this might have seemed like a curse, but I know it was really a blessing. They were forced to understand people who are different from them. Learning about other cultures means that you know more about people, and you understand the experiences of people who are different from you. This makes us more caring and compassionate people. Having a multicultural mindset makes for a more civilized society. For my mitzvah project, I volunteered at PetSmart adoption events for Houston Carriage Rescue. I got to go around to the dogs and cats, feeding them treats, taking them on walks to go to the bathroom, playing with them, and helping them get adopted. This particular mitzvah project was special to me because I love dogs and cats so much and hate how many of them had to be put down, so I wanted to help them get adopted into good homes. For my tzedakah project, I decided to raise awareness and encourage donations for an organization called Shark Angels. which is an environmental, nonprofit organization committed to changing the future of our sharks by turning fear into fascination and passion into action. I chose this organization because sharks are my favorite animal, and sharks need help because they're hunted for souvenirs and to be made into shark fin soup. They come closer to extinction every day. In return for a donation, you can be sent different packs of things, like a shark plushie, adoption papers, and pictures. You also are able to name the shark that you adopt. I will also be donating a percentage of my bar mitzvah gifts to this cause. There are a lot of people who I'd like to thank for getting me to this day. Thank you to the clergy, teachers, and staff for helping me along the way and giving me the knowledge I have today. Thank you to all my friends for being here and keeping me enthusiastic. Thank you to my aunts, uncles, and cousins for coming here today and always supporting me. Thank you to my grandparents for always being there for me. I love coming to stay with you guys and celebrating holidays with you. I always have fun when I'm with you. Owen, I'm glad we had a B'nai Mitzvah together. It's way more fun to have done it with you than it would have been if I'd gone through this process alone. It made it special to do this with you. Jake, I'm so grateful to have you as a little brother. I love your excitement and enthusiasm when I'm with you. We always have so much fun when we play together. I especially like when we play hide and seek. Maddie, thank you for driving me places and buying me things when I don't have money with me. I love making crumble cookie reviews with you, especially the part where we get to eat the crumble cookies. Thank you for putting up with me. Augie and Jenny, I want to thank you guys for always being there for me and for always supporting me throughout this journey. I love you guys' sense of humor, and I love when we do things together. Mom, I'm extremely grateful to have you as my mom. I love when we watch random Netflix shows together. I love your great sense of humor and how funny you are. You do everything for us, no matter how hard or how annoyed it makes you. Thank you for all the sacrifices you make in your life to make ours better. You've always been there for me to comfort me in my hard times. I love you so much. Thank you. Dad, I am so glad that you are my dad. You work so hard day and night for us, and I'm so grateful for you. I love when we do things together, like going to the movies and going out to eat. You're always pushing me to be my best. Even though your dad jokes are horrible, I still love them. You're always able to find time for us in your really busy schedule. Thank you. I love you so much. My bar mitzvah experience has taught me a lot. For instance, I learned that I need to never give up, and no matter how much work there is or how hard it is, I always have to push through and do it. When I look back on this day, I'm going to remember how hard the preparation was up to this point, but also how proud I feel about what I have accomplished today. I plan to continue my Jewish learning this year in 7th grade and next year in upper school. Thank you for coming to support me today. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Brody, beautiful work this morning. Thanks for your teaching. Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for carrying your congregation through this morning's worship and Torah service. It's great to share the Bima with you and with your family. I was grateful for your perspective about this parsha to look at the story about the Tower of Babel as a lesson about diversity and multiculturalism, and to think about it in a new way as not being a curse, but instead a blessing, not a liability, but a great asset for the world in which we live. And you're right that one of the blessings about living in this city is our access to and exposure to all kinds of different cultures and languages and foods and ideas that we never would have encountered otherwise. It's interesting that the first line of your Haftarah portion that you read for us this morning is part of God's promise to the Jewish people, and God encourages them to spread out yamin usmol, right? To spread out to every direction, to the right and to the left, so that the breadth and width of the Jewish community living in all kinds of different places will wind up being a strength of ours, that we're not just concentrated in one small place, but we can go on to fill up lots of different places and lots of different cultures in the world. I think that's a beautiful perspective that you brought this morning. I also liked what you taught us about the lesson of the Tower of Babel being that difference isn't something that gets in our way, but instead is something that helps us grow. You'll remember that the builders of the Tower of Babel, their big mistake was that they wanted to build a tower that would reach up to the heavens. It would enable them to access God. And they thought, wrongly, that if everybody spoke the same language and everybody was just like each other, that would bring them closer to enlightenment, bringing them closer to understanding who God is and what God is. And what you taught, I think, correctly, is that that's completely the wrong way of going about things. Instead, we come to understand holiness and transcendence and divinity, the sense of God's presence in the world, by spreading out and broadening the way that we understand the world and the diversity of the human experience. One thing that I want to encourage you to think about, in addition to what you taught about different foods and different languages, is that there's great value in diversity of human ideas. I think that the builders of the Tower of Babel must have thought something that's similar to what some of us think sometimes, that if only everybody believed the same things we did, if only everybody had the same ideas and opinions that I did, the world would be a much better place. That's an easy thing for us to think, but I agree with you that I think it's the wrong approach. That what's important is for us to surround ourselves not just with people who think and believe and feel the same way we do, but with people who have different ideas and different opinions. Maturity brings with it the opportunity to disagree with other people. Once you get out of here and out into the big world, you see that there are a lot of people who believe very different things from you do. And sometimes our first impulse is to get angry or upset or shut them out or close our ears or unfollow them on social media when we disagree with them. But instead, what I want to suggest to you as you enter adulthood is that when you find someone with whom you disagree, you should approach that person and that disagreement with curiosity and with interest to find out why you disagree and how you came to your conclusions in different ways. I think approaching disagreement with a sense of interest, and patience, compassion, and curiosity will allow you to grow and the other person as well. And that, in the end, I think we agree, is the way that we come to understand what is bigger than us about being part of the world. What's bigger than us about being in a relationship with God and being part of a tradition that encourages us to question and to learn and disagree and to grow. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have learned and studied together with you, and I cannot wait to see what it is that you bring to your Jewish adulthood, to your life as a Jewish man, a member of this beautiful family and this wonderful historic congregation. I cannot wait to experience it with you. And so I want to invite Owen back up to the bima, and I want to bring up all the parents with me and the cantor in front of the open ark. I want to invite Donna and Augie and Brandon and Jenny and Jessica and Josh for a moment of blessing in front of the open ark. We'll be opening the doors of the ark, and so I'll invite the congregation to rise, please. May God bless you and keep you. May the light of God's countenance shine on you and be good to you. May God's presence always remain close to you. May you be us with the greatest gifts God gives, the blessings of wholeness and goodness and peace. Amen.
Amen.
Friends, we'll remain standing now as we move toward Aleinu L'Shabeach. We're in our prayer books on page 282 on the bottom half of the page.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yeilanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulecho Yisrael.
Before we move toward the last few prayers and blessings of our service, I want to share a couple of calendar announcements for our community. We have a unique adult learning opportunity coming up called Spiritual Eldering, taught by Rabbi Seth Stander. This is an invitation to transform our perspectives on the aging process to move toward mindful living. This is going to be happening the first 3 Tuesdays in November from 10 to 11 a.m. You can sign up for Spiritual Eldering online or contact Amy Hartley with questions. This year, in this midterm election season, we are working hard to achieve 100% voting among our congregants this year. The EE Votes team want to remind you that next Friday, the 4th, is the last day of early voting. You can visit emmanuelhouston.org/EEVotes or harrisvotes.com for more information about how to vote. Tomorrow morning, we'll be hosting a blood drive here at Emmanuel from 9:30 to 1 to honor and benefit our congregants who are living with blood disorders. I want to invite you to sign up online or just walk in so that you can donate blood and help people that desperately need it these days. Lastly, we're still so excited that Dan Nichols, our artist, teacher, musical guru in residence, is here with us for another couple of days. I want to invite you to join us tomorrow morning at 10:30 for a morning of inspiring adult education with Dan. Lots of opportunities to learn and to grow. And so on this day of learning and growth, reflection and gratitude, we take just a moment also for memory, to remember the dear ones who came before us, who led and taught and inspired us, and who are today with us only in spirit. Today, Owen and Brody and their families have some members of their families that they are remembering in particular. And so as we prepare to move toward Kaddish, we want to remember the names of Stephen Leaf, Phyllis Leaf, Jason Leaf, Albert Leaf, Paula Strauss, Harold Leaf, Ruth Leaf, Theodore Hartman, Resha Hartman, Ilse Lowenstein, Siegfried Lowenstein, Aaron Schifris, and Helen Schifris. This morning as well, the hearts of our congregation go out in sympathy to the family of Barbara Rosenzweig, who was laid to rest in recent days. With all those names and all those memories gathered around us, I invite you to join me in our books on page 294, where you'll find the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Page 294, we rise together for the recitation of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach erutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam u'lomei al-maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yeheh shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
You may be seated. We'll move now to the blessings of Kiddush and Motzi to give thanks for this time of celebration and the food which sustains us. I want to offer a thanks to the Leaf and Mark families for providing challah and wine this Shabbat for our community so that we can offer these blessings in honor of Owen and Brody's B'nai Mitzvah. Owen and Brody, I want to invite you guys back up to the bima to help lead us in these blessings. And along with them, I want to invite Alex Leaf, Simon Lowenstein, Noah, Abby, Sydney, and Jonah Kaufman for Kiddush and Motzi as these folks make their way up to join us. We'll continue in blessing and thanksgiving.
Ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen. You can take a sip. I'll take that if you're done. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Okay, you guys can share.
You can share that with your
You
family.
can take a slice.
We close today with a prayer for peace.
Yeah,
Oh,
you do.
say
Get in there.
shalom. The words are on 343. Oh, say shalom b'mromav. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, imru, amen. Yeah, say shalom. Yeah, say shalom. Shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Say shalom, say shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
As we conclude this morning, let us go forth in blessing Almighty God. As we go from this place, let us go in peace and return in peace. Surrounded by your goodness and your blessing, may we continue to share your values and your virtues to those around us and to the whole world. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.